What's up guys, my name is Blake and today we're going to be talking about Xbox controllers. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, in this video we're going to be mainly covering the specific differences between the Xbox Elite 2 and then the older Xbox One controller. Not the one that comes with the Series X, but the one that you could get before that, that one that came with your Xbox One or Xbox One S or whatever. So we're going to be talking about the white Xbox, older Xbox controller with Bluetooth, and then the Elite 2. Yeah, so this is just a comparison between these two controllers. If you just got a Series X and you want to see what the features that the Elite controllers might have over your controller that came with the system, maybe you're not happy with it. But yeah, so if you have a Series X controller or Series X console, we're going to talk about the features of the Elite controller and see if you like that and see if you want to upgrade to that as well. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this controller right here, this white Xbox controller. I got this Xbox, actually, this Xbox. So when I bought my Xbox One, this is not the controller I got with it. I didn't buy the Xbox One S. I actually have the older one, the big, huge block Xbox One. So it's got the older black controller with less features and all that. That one does not have Bluetooth. This one I bought shortly after they started making these controllers with Bluetooth built in because I wanted to use the controller with my iPad, with the phone, with whatever. I wanted to have Minecraft on the iPad so I can use this, play Minecraft on the iPad. It's pretty darn cool. So yeah, we're gonna discuss some of the main features of this controller and just talk about it a little bit. So yeah, like I said, one of the main features with this one is it does have Bluetooth. So if you want to use this controller, not just with your Xbox, but with a newer Xbox, an older Xbox, an iPhone, an iPad, an Android device, you can do that with this controller. It's got Bluetooth built in. You can make it to where it pairs with another device just like you would any other Bluetooth device. It's pretty cool. I like that feature a lot. Like I said, that's why I bought this white one right here, because it had the Bluetooth built in and I wanted to play Minecraft on the iPad. Batteries. This controller takes AA batteries. Obviously you can get the packs that you can buy, put in here, recharge, but over time I felt like personally I lose power with those over time, and that every time I charge it and recharge it and recharge it and recharge it, I would lose rumble power, and it just didn't feel quite as quality as like a fresh pair of AA batteries. So I've always used AA batteries, and yeah, this takes AA batteries. So the grip on here, if you look on like the Microsoft website or on an Amazon ad, it will say that this has a textured grip, but I'll try to get a close-up of this. This grip that they call texture grip is not very textured. It's pretty smooth. It's barely more grippy than the top smooth part here. So in my opinion, this controller does not have a textured grip, which can, you know, when you're gaming for a long time, your hands get sweaty, all that stuff, it slips around, it can get kind of annoying. Like I said, if you look and kind of scratch your finger along it, you can kind of hear and see a little bit of a texture grip, but it's not really textured. It's just kind of a little bit rougher than the top. So yeah, no texture grip with this one. So this is, like I said, this is like the first generation of the Xbox controller that has this, when they started manufacturing them with Bluetooth built in. So this is going to have much less Bluetooth range than the newer controllers, than even the Xbox Series X controller, and as well as the newer ones, for the ones that came with the One S. And obviously the Elite controllers, those are going to have the best range. So like on Amazon and all that stuff, you can go and you can get like little covers and all that stuff for these joysticks, and like slip covers for your controller and all that stuff. But generally these parts on this controller are not interchangeable. If they break, you got to get a new controller. The charging port on this is not USB-C. It's like this old weird mini USB type thing. So yeah, no USB-C. USB-C when this one came out was not as big of a thing as it is today. So I'm not knocking it for not having USB-C. I'm just saying it does not have USB-C. So yeah, the controller does have a rumble feature, and when you're playing games that requires a rumble feature that has that, whether it's like shakings, whether it's like the recoil from a gunshot, or just general earth shaking and all that stuff, this does have rumble to it. So it has that feature. It's kind of like the old school feel of just like the rumble pack, the little motor spinning, just the old school rumble feel. Nothing crazy, nothing impressive. But it does have rumbling as a feature. It features a 3.5mm jack for your headsets and all that stuff, and it's got this other input thing here that you can use. It kind of looks like a little HDMI port, but this other input that you can use for keyboards and all that other stuff, and all the other accessories that they have for the Xbox controllers. So it has those ports right there. And then, last but not least, this controller is made of plastic. Whole thing's made of plastic. This thing's kind of been through a lot with my kids using it and us using it, so it's pretty durable, but if you were to get cracked or something like that, yeah, you'd have to replace it, and obviously plastic is going to be less durable than a metal or something like that. So yeah, there's the main features of this controller. What do you think? Do you guys have this style controller? Do you have the older ones? Do you have the Xbox Series X controller? Leave a comment in the comment box below. Tell me what controllers you have. We can talk about it in the comments. All right, now we're making a massive leap from that controller up to the Xbox Elite 2 controller. So this isn't the Elite 1, this is the second generation Elite controller. And overall, it just feels much more quality. When you compare the two, when you hold an older Xbox controller and hold this one feels a little bit heavier, not bad heavy, it just feels more quality. Feels like it's made of, I'm not sure really what the materials are in this, or if it's aluminum or whatever, but you can feel it's not just a bunch of plastic thrown together. It feels very, very nice. All right, so let's go ahead, let's talk about the main features of this controller, what it offers. So let's go ahead and talk about the main features of this controller, and then at the end of the video, I will tell you which one I recommend. So yeah, let's get into it. So again, Bluetooth. Yes, this controller has Bluetooth. All the stuff that you'd expect a modern day controller to have, so you can hook this up to any other system you'd like, including your iPad, iPhone, Android phone, all that good stuff, just like the other one, and this one's gonna have a lot more range. I'm not sure exactly what the range is, but if I find it, I'll post it in the description or whatever, I'll post it in the video. But yes, this has Bluetooth and it's got more range than the other controller. So let's talk about battery. So battery, this controller has a built-in battery, so you don't have to worry about AA's or buying a rechargeable pack. This comes with a rechargeable battery in the controller already, which is great, which is a big, big upgrade from having to buy batteries all the time and worrying about if your rechargeable batteries are gonna lose power over time. I love that feature. And it has a 40-hour battery life, which is quite a lot. I don't game like all the time, so 40 hours for me is like an eternity. 40-hour battery life is pretty darn impressive. They also have a USB-C port right in the top, so it's not that old, weird mini USB port. It's USB-C, much more modern. If they didn't include like a charging cable in the bag, most people have some sort of USB something around their house anyway, so that's very nice. Like I said, USB-C is much more modern. All of these parts on here, or at least most of them, are like modular. So like this thumbstick comes off and it's just held on with magnets. This thumbstick comes off. The D-pad comes off and it's just held on with magnets. If I can get that back on there. On the back, it has these little paddles. On the back of the controller, these little paddles. And even these paddles are held on by magnets. When we talk about having interchangeable parts, or parts breaking, parts getting worn down, all these parts on here can be swapped out. They come with spare parts, so you can actually customize the feel, the height of your joysticks, the tension of your joysticks, what type of D-pad you have, the play in your triggers. And you can actually map out a bunch of different button options for these back buttons. I forgot to mention that about the other controller as well. Most of the controllers today, you can do custom button mapping just like you could on the first generation Elite controllers. So that's not like an exclusive type of Elite controller option anymore. They do the custom button mapping on all controllers now. I'm pretty sure. Most of the controllers I looked up were all custom button mapping because it has to do with the Xbox Accessories app. Yeah, so it has custom button mapping, and this controller is actually nice because it has 4 different profiles. So if you look right here in the center of the controller, that bottom button right there, has profiles built into it. So you have your default profile, and then on the Xbox itself, in the Accessories app, and the controller app, or whatever, you can go on there and you can set different button profiles. So say you're playing a shooter game, you like your stick layout a certain way for a tactical grip when you're knifing and all that stuff, and then you shoot over to a different type of game, maybe it's a fighting game, you like a different type of button on the back or whatever, you can set like 3 different profiles. That actually makes it to 4 because you have your default, and then you have your 3 custom ones that you can make and program them in. And if you want to switch between them, all you do is click that button in the middle. This light here will change from the top to the bottom, and then yeah, it's as easy as that. You don't have to go into your settings and flip through your settings and all that stuff and take 5 minutes to change your stick layout. You literally just click the button and it's changed automatically. That is a very, very cool feature. So the texture. Now let's talk about the textured grip that's on this controller, because in my opinion, this controller does actually have a good textured grip. It's nice and rubber, and it's very much more rough than this smooth polished surface is. It's not like the other controller that was like barely more rough and the smooth surface, so you can barely feel that it was textured. This actually has great grip, great feel to it. Like I said, it's rubberized and it is very, very textured, and you can feel it. You can feel the difference. Even if your hands got sweaty, this feels much more secure in your hands. and ultimately more comfortable long term, and it just feels more solid. Material, I'm not positive what material this is made out of. I know a lot of these pieces, like this D-pad and all that, are made out of some sort of metal, like aluminum. I just dropped a piece. Obviously, because they're magnetic, they're made out of metal and all that stuff. The actual case, it feels like, if it is plastic, it's very nice plastic. It's but it just doesn't feel quite as cheap. The overall feel of the material feels much more solid, much more quality, and it should, because it's a lot more expensive than the $60 normal controllers are. So the material is great, much more solid than the plasticky feel of the older controller. Okay, so the rumble feature. So the rumble feature on this controller feels much more intuitive. I think that's the word I'm trying to look for, intuitive. But the rumble feature that's on this controller feels much more precise, much more dialed in. It doesn't just feel like a crappy little motor any channel that's spinning real fast. It actually feels much more dialed in. So like, for example, when I'm playing like Gears 5, and there's like a helicopter shake, that rumble feels much different than the rumble that I get from like the recoil shot on the gun and all the other different types of weapons. So the rumble feature on this feels much more quality. It's probably not quite as dialed in as like the new PlayStation 5 controller, but the Elite controller has much better haptic feedback and rumble feature than the older controllers, or even probably the Xbox Series X controller. Honestly, since I got my Series X, I don't think I've only used it a couple of times. I got this and the Series X at the same time. I've only used this controller while I'm playing my Series X. Going along with the interchangeable parts, on the back here you can see these little paddles, and all these little paddles can come off. All those little paddles can be programmed to be a different button. You can have another A button, another R button, another right bumper, another left bumper, whatever button you want. It can be any of these 4 paddles on the back. You can also make it a shift button. So if you want to, like on a keyboard where you'd hold down the shift key and your keys have a different function for capital letters or for whatever else, you can make one of these keys back here a shift key so that your current buttons have a different function right on the fly, which is very nice without having to switch the whole profile of the setup. The overall feel of like even these little paddles, they're magnetic. They feel great, they feel high quality. They have a very satisfying little click to them when you click them, and they don't feel like they're gonna fall apart. They're actually in place perfectly for where you're going to be having your fingers rest on the back there. And then along with the back of the controller, you can actually see there's like 3 little dots back there. Those are contacts for the charging points, and we'll talk about charging here in a second. And then you have these tension switches for how much tension you want on your trigger. So if you want, say you're playing a shooter game and you want less tension or less play because you want to be able to shoot faster, you can do that. You can shorten it right up with that switch. Or say you're playing Need for Speed or something like that and you want to e-brake differently, you want to, for whatever reason, you'll switch up the feel for whatever game you want. You have all those options, the 3 different settings for that. You have the shortest, the medium, and then the natural setting, or the more default setting that comes with all the other controllers as well, which has a lot more play in. A lot of customization with this controller, a lot higher quality, and like I said, it should be because the price point is a lot higher as well. We talked about batteries for both controllers, but this one has a rechargeable battery. So what does charging look like for charging your Elite controller? Well, actually, it comes with this case, which is very nice, and obviously all the other controllers don't come with any kind of case. And then they give you this USB-C, this pretty long USB-C braided cable. And then in the box, you have all your other accessories that you can customize your controller with, all these different thumbsticks and another D-pad. It has like a little tensioner key, so you actually can change the tension of your thumbsticks if you like them a little tighter, a little looser. And then this right here actually comes out of the case, and it is like a standalone charging base. This charging pad comes in the case that way. It stays in there with a magnet. You can take it out, which is nice. And on the bottom side of this, it's like this little, like a rubberized grip, so that you can actually have it on a flat surface or a glass top or something like that, and it's not going to move anywhere. You can have it plugged in like that all the time. So, and then it has the metal, then it has the three pin contacts on there for the backside that match up to the backside of the controller. So every time you put it on there, the controller magnets itself to this, and it's like a wireless charger for your, man, that was a long thing just to say it's a wireless charger for your controller. Oh my gosh. All that to say, this little thing comes in the case. It's removable. You can keep it in the case and have it charging. You can take it out of the case and have it charging. It's the wireless charging pad for your Xbox Elite 2 controller. Whew, man, it's very cool. I love the customization features of it, that you can keep it in the case and have it charging. You can keep it in the case and have this plugged in to your outlet, or you can take it out of the case and have it plugged into the outlet. If you'd like to keep all your stuff neatly in the case all the time with the charging, and then every time you use the controller you want to put it back in the case and have it be charging overnight, that's cool. If you'd like this to be out and displayed for everybody because you love the way it looks, you love the way your controller looks with your system and all your setup, you can have this out on your desk, pop that on there, and this can be used outside of the case as well. So it's very functional, very custom, and I just like the feel of it. Like I said, all this stuff feels very high quality. It's all metal, and if it is plastic, it feels very high quality. So all in all, what's the point of this video? The point of this video is just to show you some of the main differences. So say you're somebody who has the first generation Xbox One, and you have the controller that came with it, the black controller, and you're thinking about upgrading systems, and you're thinking about what the new controllers offer, or you're thinking about what kind of features you might want in a newer controller. You can start thinking about this stuff and look at your older controller, look at the newer controllers, and see what the main differences are, and see what benefits they have that you might like if you game a lot, if you game a little, or whatever. It's just to try to draw some of those differences out and show you what they are and what you might like. Personally, obviously, I love the Elite 2 controller. It's an amazing controller. All the other controllers, the controllers at the end of the day, they all do the exact same thing. So it's gonna come down to a features thing. Well, all the customization, all the interchangeable switches and buttons and all that stuff is going to be for somebody who games all the time. For somebody who games professionally, somebody who games for, well, even a hobby, and they like to do it all the time. That's all they do in their free time. They spend a lot of time gaming, a lot of hours gaming. That Elite controller is for those people. They're gonna tear the crap out of it, and it's gonna withstand that stuff, and it's gonna have all the customization features that they could ever want and need. The other controllers, like I said, at the end of the day, all controllers, they do the same thing. They control the game, control your characters. So there's nothing wrong with the other controllers. I'm just saying that these are some main differences between them. And if you're stuck between, what about this controller? What about the controller that comes with the Series X? What about the Elite 2 controller? What about the Elite 1 controller? This video hopefully helps you clarify some of those differences and what features the Elite controller has, what features that the older controllers have, and what might work for you. So, if you like this video, if you like the content, and you want more tech videos, more videos like this, please put a comment in the comment box below. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on it. And be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.